Andrew's mother noticed the children's reaction and saw her chance to make the consequences of his incontinence so emotionally painful that he would never forget the lesson. She made him sit down in a corner of the family room wearing nothing but his padded training pants, then she placed him under the watchful eyes of the girls, forcing him to endure the shame of being treated like a toddler by girls his own age. The girls were ecstatic over their living baby doll. They pampered and mothered him unmercifully, putting their hands down the front of his pants to check for wet ties, and asked Andrew's mother for a binky for little Andy. Andrew's mother cheerfully complied with their request and even let them feed him his milk from a baby bottle. It was 6 months before his former playmates would allow him to play with them again, and almost a year before their big baby jokes at his expense stopped. During those months of isolation, Andrew looked to adult women, such as his preschool teachers, as his protectors from the harsh reality of boyhood ostracism. Andrew's 4-year-old mind never forgave his mother for handing down such a terrible punishment for wetting the bed. Subconsciously, he began a lifelong quest to replace the mother who had treated him so wickedly. Even though the emotional wounds he suffered eventually healed over with a ropey protective keloid scar, his subconscious perception of women as protectors remained throughout his adolescence and teenage years as an utterly fixed viewpoint. The utter humiliation of the entire experience had made his conscious mind bury the memory of those 2 weeks as deeply as he could. All of his memories of the most humiliating time in his life flashed through Andrew's mind in an instant as the woman in the daycare center changed him. It was happening all over again, only this time, there would be no redemption from his fate. He was going to be a baby forever. Once the greater part of the mess had been removed, she took a baby wipe and washed his bottom clean. Then she slid a clean diaper beneath his bottom and gently lowered him to the soft, dry padding of the fresh disposable. Dropping the soiled wipe on top of the dirty diaper, the attendant took another wipe from the red plastic tub and cleansed the pee from his pubes. She pulled the diaper up between his legs and fastened the tapes tightly at his waist. As she dropped the second wipe on top of the first and folded the soiled diaper into a neat bundle and taped it closed for disposal, Andrew lay quietly on the table and thought about what had just happened. He was astonished at how little time it had taken to change his diaper. Had he attempted to change a baby when he was in his adult body, it would have taken 5 or 10 minutes. His attendant had changed him in less than 2 minutes and had efficiently bundled and disposed of the dirty diaper in only 30 seconds more. He was carried to the play area and deposited amid a pile of large multicolored plastic blocks that had 2 large round flat pegs protruding from the tops of the lightweight blocks to match similar depressions on the bottoms of the blocks. The only disconcerting thing about the blocks was their size. If a standard toy block for babies had been scaled up for an adult, they would make perfect building blocks for an adult's hand if an adult had been interested in playing with blocks. For Jimmy's small hands, the blocks were quite large. They measured approximately 9 inches long by 3 inches high and 4 inches deep. Andrew was surprised by how little they weighed as baby Jimmy took one block and stacked it on another. When Jimmy turned over one of the blocks that still had its original label on the side, Andrew could see why they were so lightweight. The label read Chubb Stackables, and underneath the product name it said in smaller lettering, Baby Wipes. The blocks were actually empty towelette tubs. Some marketing genius had thought of modifying the containers so that they could be interlocked together and stacked like giant Lego blocks.